Hey friends, today in this lesson we will focus on the next type of the questions in listening test which are called completion questions. Now completion questions are basically those questions where candidates have to fill the blanks with the suitable answers when they listen to the audio. There are four types of completion questions and you will get four categories. First is called form completion, second is called table completion, third is summary completion, and then gap filling. Now, basically, all these categories will come in all parts of the listening test, but mostly form completion will come in part 1 of the listening test. Table completion will come in part 1, 2, and 4 of listening test. Mostly you will find in these parts. Summary completion will come in either in part 3 or in part 4 of the listening test, and gap filling can come in any part of the listening test. So now we'll talk about the first category of completion question, that is form completion. Here I have already told you that this will come in part 1 of the listening module where you will listen a telephonic conversation between two people. Maybe one person is filing a complaint, for example, of something or some lost item, and they have to complete a form with the details and name of that person who have lost a particular item. So this kind of example I'm giving to you just because to make it sure that any form will be given to you and you have to fill in the details, like it can be any name, any address, it can be any contact number they will ask you. It can be a color of a lost item, for example, the weight of something, the height of something. If in case we'll talk about time, then maybe hours will be asked to you, any month, any date, etc. So these kind of details you will listen in your audio and you have to complete the form if they ask you any of the details regarding this. So the basic strategy to solve these kind of question is that you need to first of all read the instructions carefully, that how many words you have to write in your question. And the second important thing you need to remember is that you have to mark the keywords. Like if these details are given to you, then it will become easy to plot the answers as well. So the prediction plays an important role prior listening to the audio. Here I have put one example in front of you, and the question says that complete the form below. So this kind of question you will find in part 1 of the listening test. The instructions are saying that you can write no more than 3 words and or a number. That means you can write 3 words plus a number. It will not become 4 words, it will remain 3 words and or a number. If we'll talk about the question, here the question says that address. So it is clear from the question that you have to complete this address given to you, like 24 Manley Street dash and Sydney. So it can be a one word answer, it can be either a 2 words answer or a 3 words, and so on. Then comes shipping agent. I am actually helping you to mark the keywords before listening to the audio. So this is how you will plot your keyword. Here it is written shipping agent. So now for this question, how can you predict what will be the answer? That means you have to write any name of the shipping agent which will be told to you by the speaker in the audio. And the third thing, they are asking about the date of arrival. Then when the items will come and on which date. So the items will come from China. This will be your keyword. When you listen the word China in your audio, then you can definitely plot that the answer is coming on your way. So here you have to write the date. Must check for any title given to you or any example given to you. This will help you to find your first answer. This will make you relate to the conversation, that what conversation or kind of conversation is going on and given by the speaker. So if the title is given total insurance incident report, so everything or every detail asked to you is related to insurance, and name is already given as an example, that is Michael Alexander. So I'll play the audio now and you can mark your answers.
Listen carefully. and answer questions 1 to 3.
Good morning, Total Insurance. Judy speaking. How may I help you?
I recently shipped my belongings from overseas back here to Australia, and I took out insurance with your company. Some items were damaged during the move, so I need to make a claim. What do I have to do?
Okay, well, first I need to get a few details about this. Can you give me your name, please?
Yes, it's Michael Alexander.
Okay, and your address, please?
My old address or my current one?
Your current one.
It's 24 Manly Street, Milperra, near Sydney.
What was the suburb, sorry?
Milperra, Milperra.
Right. Now, who was the shipping agent, Mr. Alexander?
You mean the company we used?
Yes, the company who packed everything up at the point of origin.
Oh, it was, First Class Movers.
Okay. Where were the goods shipped from?
China, but the ship came via Singapore and was there for about a week.
Don't worry, all of that information will be in the documentation. Now, the dates. Do you know when the ship arrived?
It left on the 11th of October and got to Sydney on the 28th of November.
Okay. I need one more thing. There's a reference number. It should be in the top right-hand corner of the pink form they gave you.
Let me have a look. I have so many papers. Yes, here it is. It's 601 ACK.
Thanks.
The first answer is Milperra. Spellings are Milperra. Then comes second answer. It is first class movers. First class movers. And the third answer, which was a date, that is 28th of November. You can write off also, or you can write like this as well. So these are your three answers for question number 1 to 3, and they were very clear. But you can check out one thing: when the name, as an example, was said by the speaker Michael, then Judy asked for the address, and here he said the current address. It is 24 Manly Street, Milperra, near Sydney, and he pronounced the word here. Now here you have observed one thing, that when he pronounced that word, he pronounced our word as ah. So that is the particular accent they were using to pronounce a word. So he said Milperra. So now R he pronounces as ah. So you need to clarify this thing when you do a lot of practice of different accents, and then you can get to know that yes, some words are pronounced differently when they are said by the speaker. For example, if I talk about H, so you will hear this word in a different accent as well, says H. So this kind of difference you will find in accent, and this will come to you with a lot of practice. Then for the second question, the name was asked for the shipping agent to Michael. Then he said that it is first class movers. So this is your question number second. Then when it comes to question number 3, date of arrival, he said that on 11th of October, the items actually depart and then got to Sydney. That means arrived when. So we are asked the date of arrival. So this is the arrival date, 28th of November. The ship items departed from 11th of October but arrived on 28th of November. So this is how you will complete your form. There can be a lot of details except for name, date and shipping agent. There can be details like color, related to height, related to time, or anything else which I have told you earlier. So you need to recognize all the questions by marking the keywords properly and understand the audio as well. Next, we will talk about table completion. Now here, this category comprises of a number of questions where candidates are required to fill the gaps with suitable answers. So now here, again, the important thing you need to know are the instructions which you have to read before listening to the audio. That whether you are given no more than 2-word answers and or a number, whether you have to write no more than 3-word answers, or whether it's a 1-word answer only. You need to read the instructions carefully. That is the first step. Then second step is marking the keywords. It's just the same as form completion, but the questions will not be related to form completion. So you need to mark the keywords in the table, and then in this case you will find some synonyms. Synonyms can be given, and sometimes keywords are hidden in the synonyms. So you have to look for those keywords as well, which you listen in the audio, and you have to match the words with that of the questions you marked. You will not listen the exact match from the speaker side. He may use synonyms in that case. These are called the words which are similar you will find in your listening test. Now here I have put an example of table completion where the instruction is written, it is a 1-word answer and or a number. That means you have to write only 1-word answer in your question number 4 to 10. So here the item, damage and cost to repair things are given to you, and the items are the television. Here you need to mark that which cabinet is damaged. Then next keyword is your dining room table, and then is set of china. So here the items are given, then what are the damages occur to these kind of items, you have to write it here in the blanks. And then cost to repair. Now here from this word you will easily see that here you need to write a number, that what are the cost of damage of these particular items given to you. So here you have to write a number. This kind of prediction you have to do before listening to the audio. Here also you have to write a particular number in total. And there, if we'll talk about damage, so question number 4 actually require the keywords to be marked like the dash needs to be replaced. So what are the things need to be replaced in the television set? You have to write this thing here. So you have to write the name of the thing. Then here you have to write the name of the item. So here you have to write what thing is damaged. Question number 8, dining room table, a dash is split. So something is split of the table. You have to write that particular thing. The cost is already given. Then comes 9th question, set of china, 6 dash were broken. So set of china, it doesn't mean that they are giving the China as a country. It is a set of china, that means it can be anything related to crockery. So 6 dash were broken, it can be anything which is broken. So you have to write that particular thing. And here they are asking about dash in total. So you have to write the total amount of damage occurred to the set of china. So everything in detail I have explained to you, that how you have to mark your keywords and how you have to do the prediction part. Now it's time for you to listen to the audio carefully and mark your correct answers.
I need to take down a few details of the actual damage over the phone before you put in a full report. Can you tell me how many items were damaged and what the damage was?
Yes, well, 4 things actually. I'll start with the big things. My TV, first of all. It's a large one, very expensive.
Insurance doesn't cover electrical problems.
It isn't an electrical problem. The screen has a huge crack in it, so it's unusable.
I see. Any idea of the price to repair it?
No. Well, I don't think it can be repaired. It will need a new one.
Okay, I'll make a note of that and we'll see what we can do. Now, what was the second item?
The cabinet from the bathroom was damaged as well. It's a lovely cabinet. We use it to keep our towels in.
And what is the extent of the damage?
Well, the back and the sides seem okay, but the door has a huge hole in it. It can't be repaired. I'm really not very happy about it.
And how much do you think it will cost to replace it?
Well, when I bought it last year, I paid $125 for it. But the one I've seen here in Sydney is a bit more expensive. It's $140.
Right. And what was the third item?
My dining room table. It's a lovely table from Indonesia. It must have been very hot inside the container because one leg has completely split down the middle. The top and the other 3 look okay, thank goodness.
Any idea of the price to repair it?
Well, I had an estimate done on this actually because it is a very special table to us. They quoted us $200, which is really pricey, so I hope the insurance will cover the total cost.
I'm sure that will be fine. What was the last item, Mr. Alexander?
Well, we have a lovely set of china plates and dishes, with matching cups, saucers, the lot. They were all in the one box, which must have got dropped because some plates were broken. 6, actually.
And can you tell me the replacement value of these?
Well, it's hard to say because they were part of a set, but they can be up to $10 each, as it's such a good set.
Okay, so that would be around $60 altogether.
Yes, that's right.
And is that all of the items?
Yes. So, what do I have to do now?
So as you listen to audio, it's time for you to get your answers. So answer for fourth is screen. Answer for fifth is bathroom. Answer for sixth is door. For seventh, it's 140. For eighth is leg. For ninth, it's plates. And for last, it's 60. So for question number fourth, if we'll talk about, he used certain synonyms which we have already predicted that he may use. So they were asking about the damage, that in television, what is damaged? So Michael said that television doesn't have any electrical problem. He used the word isn't. So he said, finally, the screen has a huge crack in it, so it is unusable. That means the answer is screen. You will write it in capital letters. Then comes fifth. Michael said the cabinet from the bathroom was damaged. So here the answer is bathroom because they are talking about the cabinet of the bathroom is damaged. So when Judy said that what is the extent of the damage, then he said the door has a huge hole in it. So that means bathroom's door is cracked or has a huge hole in it. So answer is door. You will write like this. Then for seventh answer, he said the cost to replace it. Then Michael replied to him that when he bought it last year, it was of $125. But the one I have seen here in Sydney, so that means they are talking about the Sydney, it is more expensive, that is $140. So, bathroom cabinet was bought by Michael last year for $125, but to repair it in Sydney, it is a bit more expensive thing. So, answer is 140. He used the contradictory connector but, which actually changed the sentence, and you have to refer to the second sentence rather than on the first half of the conversation. Then comes for the eighth question. He said his dining room table, which was already written here for eighth question, and he clearly used the word that one leg has completely split down the middle. So what is the extent of the damage? That the leg of the table is split. Here you will write leg. As it's a one word answer, you will write leg, and you will not write 1 as a number because for that a is written already. A means 1. So a leg is split, that clearly shows that one leg is split of the dining room table. Then comes set of china. So here he used the word well. We have a lovely set of china plates and dishes. So it is related to crockery, with matching cups, saucers, the lot. And then finally he said that one box which must have got dropped because some plates were broken. So in that box there were plates which are broken, 6 actually. So he used the number already. So you will write plates here as an answer. So after that, Michael said, well, it's hard to say because they were part of a set, but they can be up to $10 each. So they are talking about 6 plates. So it is for $10 each. That means altogether it is 60. So we are asked the total number only. So you will write 60, but not the dollar sign because dollar sign is already written in the question paper. This is how you will write the answers in your fair sheet. Now, next category is our summary completion. This category comprises of various number of questions in a paragraph form where candidates have to follow certain tips to find their answers. You will be given a certain paragraph in a box and you have to complete that summary according to the title given. Now here, you need to follow some tips. And the first tip is you need to read the summary carefully to get a general idea about the topic. If it is given job vacancy for an example, and here you can easily read the whole paragraph. If the questions are given from 26 to 30, you can read the whole summary to get a general idea that whether they are talking about the recruitment thing and what the questions are given. The next tip is that you can anticipate what is given in the question before listening to the audio. So, how you will do the anticipation? You can read out all the blanks carefully and you can easily predict what kind of information they are asking from you. Then third is very important in each and every category that you need to mark the keywords to find the answers. Whatever questions are given, like if you are given a box and there are some sentences in a box, you need to mark the keywords in the sentences given. And there can be synonyms you will find in your question, and when you will listen to the audio, similar words are used by the speaker as well, just to confuse you. So you need to recognize all the synonyms which are told to you through audio. The next step is candidates can find the answer immediately after the keyword they mark. So now in this case, if the question is given, like they are giving you an example, title of the book is dash, which you will read lately. So here, how will you mark the keywords? This is an example. You will mark the keywords before the blank and after the blank, which will help you to find the exact answer. Before the blank, the main keyword is book and title. Then after the blank also you have to mark the keywords. So maybe he'll give the title of the book which he had read last year. But lately means recently. So you have to listen the audio carefully and just give the title of the book, that one which he had read recently. So this is how you will mark the keywords and main words before the blank and answer after the blank to get your final answer. Then the last strategy is you need to check the word limit too before filling the gaps. Now for this you may be given a one word answer, a two words answer, or a three words answer and or a number. So any instruction can be given to you to fill the gaps. You need to read the instruction carefully. So all these 5 tips you have to do before listening to the audio. When you follow these tips, you will find your correct answers very easily. Now here I have attached a sample for summary completion. So first of all, question number 25 to 30 simply means it is given in part 3 of the listening test. So you will follow all the 5 tips which I have taught you in the previous slide, and first of all you will read the instruction. Here the instruction is given that you have to write only one word answer. Then you will look for the title, and here the title is looking for Asian honeybees. So you can easily predict that everything or every answer will come up to you regarding Asian honeybees. Then marking the keywords is also very important. So we'll mark the keywords in sequence wise, and the summary will also come in sequence wise. It will be in the same order. So question number 25, the keywords will be, if we'll talk about on the left side of the blank, it is birds and eat only. The name of the word is given rainbow bee eaters. So in the whole summary they will maybe talk about rainbow bee eaters, but you have to mark the word birds, that what they eat. So here maybe synonyms can be used and they will use the word feed instead of eat. So you have to recognize these words when you listen to the audio. Then comes the next keyword after the blank. So you can write or you can mark cough up small bits of skeleton. That means they are actually focusing on small bits of skeletons. of that particular thing which you will mark for question number 25. Then in the next sentence for question number 26, it is written, researchers go to the locations the bee eaters like to use for dash. So here the keywords are researchers. Go to the locations means they are going to that particular site. What the bee eaters use for dash. So you have to write that particular thing where bee eaters use that place for something. Then in the next sentence, it is written, they collect the pellets. Here they refers to the researchers only. You can definitely note it down from the previous sentence that they are talking about the researchers. They collect the pellets and take them to a dash for analysis. So you have to write that particular word or a place where the researchers take all the pellets and they actually set those pellets in a particular place. Then next they are talking about here dash is used to soften them. So they are using something to soften them. Then in question number 29 the keywords can be, and the researchers look for the dash of honeybees in the palette. Means researchers look for something of honeybees in the pallets. So Asian honeybees are containing something which the researcher search for. You have to write that word in 29th question. Next, we'll talk about the last sentence, the benefit of this research. Now, in this word, you can easily predict that they are talking about a particular research from question number 25 to 30, and in the last sentence, they are using that the benefit or the advantage of doing this all thing is that result is more dash than searching for a live Asian bee. So this is how you will predict your answer before listening to the audio. So now I will give you time to listen to the audio carefully before marking your answers.
How will you know if Asian bees have entered Australia?
We're looking at the diet of the bird called the rainbow bee eater. The bee eater doesn't care what it eats as long as they're insects. But the interesting thing about this bird is that we are able to analyse exactly what it eats, and that's really helpful if we're looking for introduced insects.
How come?
Because insects have their skeletons outside their bodies, so the bee eaters digest the meat from the inside. Then they bring up all the indigestible bits of skeleton, and of course the wings, in a pellet, a small ball of waste material which they cough up.
That sounds a bit unpleasant. So how do you go about it?
In the field, we track down the bee eaters and find their favourite feeding spots, the places where the birds usually feed. It's here that we can find the pellets. We collect them up and take them back to the laboratory to examine the contents.
How do you do that?
The pellets are really hard, especially if they've been out in the sun for a few days. So, first of all, we treat them by adding water to moisten them and make them softer. Then we pull them apart under the microscope. Everything's all scrunched up, but we're looking for wings, so we just pull them all out and straighten them. Then we identify them to see if we can find any Asian bee wings.
And how many have you found?
So far, our research shows that Asian bees have not entered Australia in any number. It's a good result and much more reliable than trying to find live ones as evidence of introduced insects.
Well, that's fascinating. Thank you, Grant, for those insights. I hope that you might inspire some of our students here to conduct some similar experiments.
Now, as you listen the audio, so I'll tell you the answers from question number 25 to 30 first. So 25th answer is insects, as you have to write one word answer only. So 25th answer is insects. Then comes 26th answer, which is feeding. Then 27th is laboratory. 28th is water. Then comes 29th, it's wings. Then the last is reliable. So if we'll talk about question number 25, here we mark the keywords birds and rainbow bee eaters, eat only, and small bits of skeletons. So all these keywords you found in your first line in the conversation which researcher used, that we are looking at the diet of the bird called rainbow bee eater. Then he said the bee eater doesn't care what it eats as long as they are insects. That means the most favorite food of rainbow bee eaters are insects. So in 25th question you will write insects like this. Then for the next question, it was written in the question paper that researchers go to the locations the bee eaters like to use for dash. So that means you need to tell that where researchers go to find the bee eaters. So here the researchers used line in the field we track down the bee eaters. That means they are going to the locations where the bee eaters are and find their favorite feeding spots. That means the spots which bee eaters used for feeding or eating, they actually go to those locations. So that means 27 is feeding. Then next they said they collect the pellets and take them to a dash for analysis. Then they are saying that researchers are collecting the pellets that they found in those locations and they take them to a laboratory. So here you can write laboratory like this. So in 28th question it is written here dash is used to soften them. So we will mark soften word as a keyword and we'll look for this word in the conversation. And when we'll listen the conversation, the researcher use this line that the pellets are really hard, especially if they have been out in the sun for a few days. So first of all, we treat them by adding water to moisten them. So what they are adding to soft it or soft the pellets, they are adding water. So here you will write the answer water. And then for 29th question, they are saying, and the researchers look for the dash of Asian honeybees in the pellets. That means whatever pellets they are collecting, the researchers are collecting to take them to the laboratory, they are looking for something which is in the Asian honeybees. So as in the conversation he said, everything all scrunched up and we are looking for the wings. So if we just pull them out and straighten them. So the answer will be wings. Then for the last question, they are talking about the benefit of doing this research is that result is more dash. So you will hear this word in the last line of the conversation that researchers said, so far our research shows that Asian honeybees have not entered Australia in any numbers. It is a good result. So he is using the same word as it was written in the question and it is much more reliable than trying to find live ones as evidence. So that means the honeybees they are found out, the result is much more reliable in experimenting on those honeybees. So the answer is reliable. This is how you will find your answers in case of summary completion. Now in the fourth category is gap filling, where you will get a number of questions where you have to fill the gaps with suitable answers but according to the word limits which will be mentioned to you in the questions. Now here all the tips and strategies will be same as we have learned in form completion, table completion and summary completion. As you have to read the instructions first, like what is the word limit given to you, then you have to mark the keywords and understand what is given and asked in the question. Then you need to paraphrase the question as well. Paraphrasing means you have to translate the question in your simple words so as to understand the meaning what the question is asking for. And then you will listen the conversation after doing or marking all these steps. So these are the very important points. But before that, if any title is given to you, you can look for that title as well. Now you need to remember one thing that you have to listen the answers very carefully as there are chances that answer to the questions may lie in the opening sentence of the conversation. When the conversation will begin, you will give your 100% attention to what is said to you by the speaker. Prior to listening to the audio, you can mark all the keywords which will help you to find the correct answer while listening to the audio, but you have to check out from the very beginning that what is said to you. These are the questions given to you. Question number 1, 2 and 3. So the question saying Mr. Gold stopped smoking on. So here you have to do the prediction part and mark your keywords first before listening to the audio. Here Mr. Gold is the common word because all the three questions are related to Mr. Gold only. So main keyword is stopped smoking on. So here you can easily predict that you have to give the date that when Mr. Gold stopped smoking. So here you can predict and write date. And when you will listen to the audio, you will write the exact date when Mr. Gold stopped smoking. Then the second question is saying Mr. Gold said he was dash if people had not seen him smoking. So here the keywords are people had not seen him smoking. So Mr. Gold said something to the people that he was doing something when people are not seeing him blowing cigarettes. Then the third question saying the worst side effects he experienced were. That means when he was giving up on smoking, what was the worst side effect he actually experienced? So worst side effect is your keyword. And then you will listen to the conversation and find your correct answers. So now I will play the audio and you have to write no more than 2 words for each answer. You can write a number as well. If they are asking for the date, so definitely you have to write a number.
On the 1st of July, I managed to get through 24 hours without a single cigarette. The next day, I got to 48 hours. Then I aimed for 100, 500, 1,000. Easy. It was my own little private game and I was winning it. If anyone mentioned they hadn't seen me smoking, I simply said I was cutting down. I had to be sure of success. Eventually, a month passed and I felt safe enough to come out. I'd lost count of the number of hours I'd gone without a cigarette. All I suffered was a couple of bad headaches, and then I was set for my most healthy year ever. Not one single cold for over 12 months.
So the answer from question number 1 to 3 are question number 1, the answer is 1st July. He stopped smoking on 1st July. As we predicted that here you have to write a date. So this is the date you have to write. So answer in fair sheet will be 1st July. You have to mark this thing in your fair sheet. Then second question, he said he was cutting down when people seen him not smoking for a long time. It is said that if anyone mentioned they hadn't seen me smoking, I simply said I was cutting down. That means he was cutting down. So cutting down you have to write like this. Cutting down means he is not actually blowing cigarettes for a long time. So he's reducing the count of cigarettes day by day. So then third question is asking the worst side effects he experienced during this particular time. He actually talked about that all I suffered was a couple of bad headaches and then I was set for the most healthy year ever. So that means he suffered from some bad headaches. So you can write bad headaches or you can write only headaches like this in capital letters. So this is how you will complete your gap filling as well as form completion, table completion and summary completion. You will mark your keywords, you will read the instructions, predict your answers prior to solving your answers, and then you can find the correct answer easily by listening to the audio and giving your proper 100% attention to the audio. Thanks for watching.